It is exactly 19 after 9 o'clock. Welcome to the second hour of News and Views on Salam Media with me, Julie Ali. And of course, the big issue of the day is the Matric results. But also another issue which we've all been grappling with is the ridiculous situation regarding the Matric pass rate, which was pegged at the ridiculous 30%. But BOSA spokesperson Roger Solomons is here to talk to us about the issue around raising it to something that is more in line with possibly international standards, and they are calling for matric pass rates to be raised up to 50%. And I kind of wonder, the big question, of course, and we leave that question for Roger to answer. The big question is, how do we fare with international standards going out or accepting a pass rate of 30%? I think we must look like idiots, absolutely. But let's welcome to the program BOSA spokesperson Roger Solomons, and we're going to be looking at this very sore point as far as South Africa is concerned. A very good morning to you. Welcome to the program.
Good morning to you as well, and to all the listeners and viewers out there.
The issue around raising that pass rate, it's actually an insult to us as South Africans, is it not? To our educators, to our learners, that this is our very low expectation of our learners and our future leaders taking South Africa forward.
Absolutely. I mean, it goes without saying, just putting the pass mark at 30% just communicates a totally underperforming low standard and expectation we have from pupils and the Department of Education and teachers and all stakeholders. And ultimately, I think, we're definitely setting our pupils up for failure. We are definitely hurting them if this does not improve. So a 30% pass mark is absolutely, it's unacceptable, even against international standards. I mean, I'm sure yourself, I mean, if you're on a flight and the pilot greets all the passengers and says, by the way, I've passed my license or exam with 50%. What I mean, just the shock and the confidence immediately. So definitely we're failing our youth, and we should definitely look at this and absolutely not accept this pass rate at all.
It also talks directly, absolutely. It also talks directly with the unemployment crisis in our country and then the impact globally, because no country or no person works totally in isolation. We're all interconnected.
Absolutely. I mean, we are not preparing our youth for the global market out there. Never mind to participate. I'm sure we all want our pupils to win in the global economy and the global market. And at the moment, we are not educating or trying to upskill and invest in our pupils. Especially, we're definitely not investing them to be entrepreneurs and to create jobs, but rather job seekers. So as things stand, and with this pass mark of 50%, that is what we are setting our pupils up for, to go out there and just be a job seeker.
Apart from that, it also seems that this very same cohort of learners in this, falling under this 30% pass mark, they're the very same people who are not interested in the trade, for example. We know globally there's a huge demand for people in the trade, your plumbers, your electricians, bricklayers, etc., etc., etc. But this probably is tied indirectly with our years under the yoke of apartheid. I think our youth feel probably more comfortable knowing that they can furnish a diploma or a degree and rather be employed under those qualifications. But how are they ever going to get there if this is all that we're expecting from them? We're telling them we are giving them the incorrect message. We are saying to them that do your least and you'll still scrape through and you'll still get by in the world. And that is an untruth. And I think we need to be holding the Department of Education and the person who passed this originally, hold them to account regarding this matter. So what is BOSA stand on this, and how far are you prepared to go to have that pass rate raised to the minimum of 50%?
Absolutely. Well, we've last year already launched this petition saying that 30% pass mark must fall, it must be scrapped immediately, and at least raised to a minimum of 50%. Our leader, Missy Maimani, has also met with the Minister of Education, the new Minister of Education, after the elections last year, where she, in principle, committed to have a look at this. And I mean, it's been 6 months down the line, and there's still no movement towards this. So we have met with the department, we've met with the Minister of Education. We've got a petition running that has received thousands and thousands of South Africans, parents, teachers, pupils, various stakeholders supporting this call. We are also on the ground visibly in communities around schools, actually driving a door to door and having conversations with households to rally up support, because this is something we can change. We can change and we can persuade and convince the department that a 30% pass mark is very much unacceptable. Nobody's going to fly in a plane where the pilot has passed with 50%. Nobody's going to enter an operation room where the doctor says he's passed with 50%. How dare we allow our pupils and set them up for this failure and expect this low standard? And ultimately, I think the department is running away from accountability and is basically masking their underperformance. So it's hugely disappointing. But this is a fight. We as Bold One SA, together with our leader, Mr. Mamani, and we are represented in Parliament, we are making noise about this, and he's very passionate, and we're passionate about education. And I mean, it just impacts the future of South Africa. It's really disappointing.
Okay, so I'm thinking, Roger, how much of will, courage, and work would it take for the minister to pass that ruling, to pass this in Parliament, to say that the pass rate is going to be increased to 50%? This is not rocket science stuff, is it? And you kind of wonder, what is it that these ministers sit and do, and heads of the different ministries sit and do in their offices all day long, sitting on their hands. This is totally unforgivable and unacceptable. It's time that the South African public truly raised their voice regarding this matter.
Definitely, absolutely. And I mean, it's not that this 30% pass mark just came about. I mean, in previous years, I'm sure when you had schooling, the pass mark was way higher. So if it was changed to be lower, surely that same willpower we speak about, and this moral obligation we have towards the youth of our country, to go through the processes, irrespective of the cost, and ensure that we raise this pass mark to a minimum of 50%. The youth unemployment in South Africa, we probably rated first, probably in the top 3 in the world. And surely if we are at the trajectory, and like you say, if we satisfy with this lousy 30% pass mark, we are setting our pupils up for failure. We are being disingenuous, and we're hurting ultimately the youth of our country.
Yeah, sadly, I think I did make a comment a little earlier on, suggesting that it's it's a simple process, just raising it. I know it's putting it very simply. I think this would mean an entire overhaul of the Department of Education. They're going to have to go back to basics. It's going to mean a lot of hard work, lots of input, lots of consultation regarding entry-level education, probably even ECD. And
Yeah,
all of that needs to be put in place. And the one big thing they would come about, and the one thing that they would cry foul about is budgetary issues. And we do know it's going to impact a lot on budget. It means they've got to overhaul the entire education system from grade R or whatever it is, to make these kids school ready, to make these kids be able to compete at an international level, and to make our kids, once they reach their matric year, to be able to attain a pass rate of 50% plus. Your final thoughts, please.
absolutely. I definitely agree with you. And one of our, as BOSA, we've got a 10-point plan. And one of that critical points is based on the ultimate success of a child's later education hinges strongly on the foundational phase. And definitely we should reprioritize and place more importance and emphasis on our ECDs. Currently, we know that I think it's about 78% of grade 4 learners ultimately can read for meaning. I mean, this is shocking. If 78% of grade 4 learners can only read for meaning, then this should be a number one crisis in the country and should be top of the
Absolutely.
agenda of all sectors of society, of the GNU government. Everybody should take a responsibility. So we believe that, and we believe also that ultimately the morale at the moment for teachers is very, very, very low, and we feel that teachers deserve to have a salary increase to and reward top performing teachers. And another point we also raised was to replace life orientation. I mean, life orientation subject, and replace that with examinable subjects like critical thinking, strategic thinking, system
Absolutely.
or design-led thinking, financial management, and just be more practical and real about the education system. And we definitely need an overhaul. We need political and institutional will to make those changes, and it's something worth fighting for. Something worth fighting for.
Absolutely, couldn't agree with you more. Please make sure that you guys forge ahead and get the department to be accountable
Sure.
and let them get moving on this issue. Otherwise, we're going to be having a nation of ill-equipped learners with absolutely no future going forward.
Mm.
Absolute pleasure talking with you, Roger Solomons. I do look forward to future chats to you on this very critical issue regarding our youth and education in South Africa.
Absolutely.
Thank you and God bless.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
9:32 news and views moving along. We do need to pay the rent, so let's do that before we are joined with our next guest. And of course, now we are going to go to the heart of the matter, and we're going to be talking matric results.